I would like to welcome Maysoon Al-Zoubi to the podcast. We recently met at the National Academy meeting in California, where Maysoon was serving on the Committee on Transboundary Water Security. She's currently serving as project manager for a food and agriculture organization, Green Climate Fund, with over 30 million to improve water use in agriculture in Jordan. Maysoon has had a wonderful career, and prior to this FAO program, she served as Secretary General of the Jordan Ministry of Water and Irrigation from 2009 to 2012, Senior Policy Analyst, Economic Affairs Department, 2007 to 9, and seconded to Prime Minister of Jordan as Senior Infrastructure Specialist in 2005 through 2007. Thank you so much for joining me today, Maysoon.
My pleasure. Hi.
Today we're going to talk about water issues in Jordan and some of the key challenges related to increasing demand from population growth and refugees coming into the country, decreasing supplies with overexploitation of groundwater, and to potential solutions to the water crisis. And Maysoon's roles in various projects, as I just mentioned, are highly relevant to these solutions, including technical committee chair for the Red to Dead Sea project, negotiator and ambassador for the Climate Change Jordan, and chair of the management committee for the Blue Peace Middle East regional mechanism, and initiator and co-founder of Women in Water Diplomacy in the Middle East North Africa region. So incredible expertise that's highly relevant for water resources. So Maysoon, many of my listeners may not be familiar with Jordan and water resources in Jordan. So maybe you can give some background for that.
Sure. Hi to everyone. First, about Jordan. Jordan, officially, we call it a Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. It is a middle-income country with refugees becoming low-income, with very limited natural resources and semi-arid climate. Jordan area is around 89,000 square kilometer, surrounded by regional conflict. And that is why of the too many refugees that we are receiving and take care of. Approximately 75% of Jordan, the land is covered by Arabian desert. However, we have in the western part of Jordan is arable and forest land. Capital is Amman. It is divided into 12 governorates, and Jordan can be divided into 3 main geographic and climate areas. The Jordan Valley, which is the most distinctive natural feature. It is part of a great Rift Valley of Africa, and where is the Wadi Araba is there, and then also we have a mountain height plateau, and as I said, 75 of Jordan, it's Arabian desert. This is with this Jordan, and Jordan, it is among Syria, Palestine, Israel, and Iraq. All the countries that, inshallah, everything in the future will be better. But we are, like I said, and surrounded by regional conflicts. Now to water, in brief, we used to be the third poorest water scarcity in the world. But with the latest water strategy, and now the per capita, the availability of water per person per year, it is 61. We are now the poorest. Comparing the poverty line of scarce water is 500. So you imagine that the availability of water, 61 cubic meter for all uses. 40% of our water is shared water, and unfortunately we are in all of shared water in the downstream. The cost of water is very expensive because of the scarcity of water. It is around, to produce 1 cubic meter of water, it costs us $3. from the production. For this is the one. Of course, we need to provide people what we have. The water that we have in Jordan is barely enough for 3 to 4 million. We are serving 11.5 million now, and they are increasing. And this is not because our natural growth, it is because basically of the refugees that we are. So to provide those people with the enough amount of water for drinking purposes, we overpump so this continuous overpumping of a very precious groundwater resources. Yani most of the basin, we are pump like 100 more twice, the lucky one twice of its safe yield. Definitely structural imbalance between water and supply demand, of course, consequences of climate change already present. But this is in brief.
Right. Thank you so much for providing such a short intro to Jordan. And so it's interesting. I mean, you go from Mediterranean climate in the Jordan Valley, and then you have the high areas to the east, and then you get into the desert, the bottom desert. And you mentioned 75% is desert. And then the water resources are limited. You have the Jordan River as a boundary with Israel and the West Bank. And then you have the Yarmouk River, I guess is a tributary to the Jordan. So they're probably the two main surface water bodies. And then you have a number of aquifers that you mentioned are being overexploited because your population growth far exceeds what the natural growth would be because of all the refugees that you host, because of your position in these countries, and you help with these refugees. So that's really, really good. So
just Bridget, to correct, and with the Jordan River, there is no river. If you can come and see, actually, it is a stream in some places and dry. With the surface water and the Yarmouk River, and because of climate change and the shortage of water, and we receive very little from Yarmouk. Most of the water, it is groundwater, and later I will tell you our resources, but mostly it is groundwater, and we have some dams where we harvest water and keep them for our usage.
Well, thanks for correcting me on that, because I mean, when we title something a river, we think there must be some water there, but maybe not necessarily. So, we hear a lot these days about regions experiencing droughts and floods and climate change, increasing temperature and evaporation. And so the projections then for water resources are not great for Jordan. And was reading one of Steve Gorelik's papers recently, and he mentioned also that if irrigated agriculture in Syria recovers, that would also impact water availability for Jordan. And you mentioned when we were chatting in California, flash floods, and especially in 2018, and killing 21 students and also 10 Israeli students in a different flooding event. So these are big issues for Jordan, these climate extremes. Maybe you can describe a little bit how you're planning on trying to deal with those.
So, like you said, the climate change induced hazards such as drought, extreme temperature, flash flood, in Jordan have almost tripled in Jordan since 1980s, comparing to doubling worldwide. This is exposing the population to loss of life, livelihood, and property. And you heard about it happens 2 times with the Dead Sea, where we lost 20 students. They were there. It is, and this flash flood we have, it is, you will see a huge amount of water, and rather than you benefit from this water, it damage, it destroy. It is very dangerous. Yani, if you come to Jordan, come and visit this wadi and the Dead Sea where we lost those students. Very dangerous. It's a heavy, very heavy rain. Take with it all the rocks and the stone, and it's disaster. But this is with the flash flood. It's one of the things that happens with the climate change. As it damaged everything. It damaged, lost life, lost livelihood, properties. And then also, it's not only so, according to the expectation or prediction of climate change, in Jordan, we're expecting that temperature will be increased from 1 to 3 degrees centigrade. And if you look at this means the demand it will increase the demand, will increase evaporation. Yani we're suffering from scarcity of water, little amount of water, and with the climate change, because the climate change impact basically on the availability of water, which is already, and in Jordan, if you look at our resources, it depends on rainfall, right? Because dams, even groundwater, recharge of groundwater. So most of our water resources depend on the rainfall. And according also to the expectation, they're expecting the precipitation to be decreased from 20 to 25. And we witnessed this. Yani I read and I shared with you, but it is in Arabic, so the water balance and Ministry of Water, they said the amount of precipitation, the amount of rainfall is too little this year, which is force us to over pumping our groundwater. So no water to recharge, and we have to supply people with water, so we have to over pump our this water. Also, it's not only the amount of precipitation and temperatures, it's also changing in season. Now we witness, a more drier autumn, more drier winter. These people in Washington, when we talk about this, they cannot even imagine this, or other spaces not like us in the Middle East. And even in summer, it is more extreme temperature, a wave of heat waves. Now you have to come to Jordan. We suffer from the high temperature, and with its impact, circumstances of evaporation. Most of our water, we are losing this because of evaporation. The demand is higher, and again, also the flash flood that I said. For people, they may be said, okay, it's okay. You will have a lot of, but we are not ready for that. For this, we have they formulated a special policy one for a drought and other one for a climate change. And now we, in Jordan, we are not causer with this climate change issue, but we affected a lot, especially with this amount, like I said, amount of water. We have a special program, a special policy for the climate change, how we can tackle it to be able to keep or to have more water through adaptation. The project that I'm managing, it is the first project, and we have another project from Jeff, another, this climate finance. This is a new thing, and we are studying this because Jordan is one of the countries that, believe me, it deserves to benefit from this type of finance. But I love this type, although it's very difficult. But the nice in this climate finance type of fund, it is finance the activity that can help you adapt, which is great thing. The project that I'm managing, it is the first project that Jordan got or won from the Green Climate Fund. It is grant, and they are very strict. They don't give the money directly to the government. They give money to accredited agency. To be accredited, it is difficult. And you have accredited agreement or agreement of accreditation with them. They monitor you. If you're not bad or not doing well, they will cancel this. But will make sure the money will go directly, and they make sure the money will go directly to activity that can help adaptation, mitigation, and could be both. But my project, it is adaptation because it is FAO is the accredited agency. So it is where it is important, and with the most, it is not more or less agriculture comparing with the country around us. It's like now 50% of water used in agriculture, and 40% of it is reclaimed water. But again, this is our situation. If you compare with the region, it is 80 and 90. So this project is with efficient use of water in agriculture.
Right.
We did a lot of things in water demand management. And if you like, now it is with the climate change. We're ready. We have a policy. We have an action plan. It is in our strategy to get ready. But again, Jordan, we suffer from shortage
Right.
of water before climate change. Now it is worse.
Right, right. So no shortage of challenges, and as you mentioned, your climate goes from Mediterranean climate in the Jordan Valley, where you're accustomed to winter precipitation, and you say changing seasonality, not just decreasing precipitation and increasing temperature. And then you are ranked the lowest country, I guess, for per capita water availability in the world. It's a tough situation to deal with. So you sent me a report on facts and figures for Jordan on water use, and that was extremely helpful. And so to put this in perspective, it seems like you use about 1 billion cubic meters of water a year. 2022 numbers, that's 1 cubic kilometers, and that's close to 1 million acre feet, which is what US listeners may be more accustomed to. 1 cubic kilometers is our 1.2 cubic kilometers per million acre feet. And then the different sectors is described in that report, irrigation, municipal, and so irrigation and municipal are roughly, are similar. In many areas, irrigation water use is the dominant one, but in Jordan, it's similar. And it's very interesting to see the different sources of water that use the surface water, groundwater, and a huge contribution of wastewater reuse. So maybe you can describe that, Maysoon, and how that has evolved over time, because you have been involved in those projects, I think, over the years. So this wastewater reuse is a huge part of your water budget.
Sure. Like you said, the total water use is 1,130 million, and it's almost a billion. And it is, if by sectors, like you see, 46% is for municipal, 50 for agriculture, and you will see for industry it is 3%. So we're not using water to be rich. We use water to serve Jordanian and refugees with the drinking purposes, and also with the livestock. With the groundwater, the majority is with the groundwater. This is our groundwater. It is like 600, the number you have it. And then after that, surface water. Surface water, it's basically, it is a dams that we have. And, I don't know if you heard about last year, all the dams were dry because of climate change, no rain. And we have a big conflict in Jordan. They thought that we need to educate the Jordanian. We have a problem of climate change. Climate change means more evaporation, means higher demand, less precipitation. This is, because we work a lot but it is important to educate the people about the problem. And this is one of the things that I always focus on. You have to talk with people, tell them, so they will understand the challenge that you are facing. It is surface water. For us, why I told you the cost of water is $3, which is very expensive. It is because of the scarcity. We are now investing in non-conventional water. We have, this type of water, conventional and non-conventional. Conventional, it is surface and the groundwater. It costs you little to treat this water. It is there, especially in some countries where they have big rivers and they can just take the water clean. And in Jordan, we have also groundwater, which is clean, but again, it costs you too. But because of scarcity, we have to use non-conventional, means the water that you spend money to produce. It is not a cheap water, like desalination. Now, still, we are desalinating the brackish water, not yet seawater, because of the story of the Red Sea project and how much it's expensive. Some of water we desalinate, the brackish water, it costs, and the reuse. For us, Bridget, we consider reclaimed water in our water budget. It is a renewable resource. We are improving the old. We have a Samra, which is the BOT project, the best produce water. This water, reclaimed water, we use it in agriculture, or we allocate this water to be used in agriculture, but not an extra amount. We give them reclaimed water to free fresh water for drinking purposes. So see, in Jordan, we are the only country in the region that have water allocation policy. In our policy, first priority is for domestic municipal uses, for people to drink. Then agriculture. But with agriculture, we cap water allocated for agriculture. Under cap, we have two types of agriculture. One, in the highland, they use groundwater, fresh water, which is better to be used for drinking purposes or municipal. And the other one is Jordan Valley. Jordan Valley, they have the infrastructure ready to absorb or to take this reclaimed water. But under cap, there will be increase in water, reclaimed water in Jordan Valley, and decrease in highland, where they use groundwater, which is almost depleted. So this is with this, we don't consider for these two. So see, in agriculture, we're not giving more, but we replace their water and drinking purposes. Then after that, it will be for industrial and mining and, of course, environment. But, in Jordan, like I said, I will tell you about maybe, if you like, I tell you how we look at it and manage our water. First of all, the challenges. Scarcity of water is the most challenge that we are suffering. When we tell it is scarcity water, this means the amount of water available is not enough to meet the demand for domestic, for agriculture, for industry, for environment, right? And this accompanied with high growth of population. When you have little amount of water and you have a population who are growing, then it's the market force will interfere or influence the allocation of water. So definitely the water will go to urban, right? Because it is domestic. You have a growth of population. We expand in 4 years because of the refugees that we have, and we have to serve them. And, then the water will be reallocated from agriculture and from environment to help people. The result of this, it will be more stress on water ecosystem, and of course the production of food and agriculture. But this is difficult. Overdraft of our ground is another challenge because of mismanagement. Not because we don't know how to manage our water, but we have to provide. When we have the refugees in the northern part of Jordan, they put them in places where it's already suffer from shortage of water. We don't have the say where to put them in Jordan. So it's already suffer from shortage of water. We need to provide them with water. If we provide with them water, then this will affect the availability of water of the Jordanian. It will be more difficult for them. We ration our water. More than 50% of the Jordanian, they receive their water one day, 24 hours a week. And they are the lucky one. Some of them maybe less than, maybe one day, 2 weeks, because we don't have water. We have the network. The connection is great. If you look at the connected people, in the urban, it's 96, but there is no source. And this definitely, this affects the leakage. So this is with why we have this. Also, like I said, the climate change. And again, the little amount of water, it's also can be reduced by pollution because of the agriculture practice. Sometimes because of the type of the soil, the leach of what they do in agriculture can affect the groundwater, because not all Jordanian are connected to the wastewater. So some of them, they use septic tank. And I don't know with the area of refugees, how the septic tank are very well protected. So it might, and especially in Azraq area, the aquifers are shallow. So also we have this. We have our policy, the policy integrated water resource management. In this, like I said, we invest on producing more water, non-conventional, like more reuse, desalination. Why? Because we need to give time for our groundwater to decrease the overpumping. The idea, but what's happened around us didn't help us. The plan was when we have a DC project, it is BOT project. It's very expensive, done by private sector. The plan was before the Syrian crisis, the plan was, and this will cover 20% of the demand. Then we use this water with very strict way. So we will stop pumping from aquifers with that amount. But we receive the Syrian. They increase the demand nationwide 20%. So this expensive will go there. You see, sometimes when you plan
gets
something,
very complicated.
you can do it.
Right.
Of course, it is not only, like I said, the idea is to do more with non-conventional because to time for conventional to replenish and increase the storage of dams, even deep aquifers we are studying.
Right.
And again, we have a shortage, of course, in network because now network used to serve 8 million, let's say, or 7 million. Now we are 11 million. So more water. So the pressure will be more on the infrastructures that we already have. So what this big number also damaged the development that we already have, the good infrastructure, because now it serves more people. So it will be like this.
I think. I mean, what you do with wastewater is amazing. I mean, so Jordan, I mean, you're not using your allocation to irrigation and municipal are roughly equal. And so that's unusual because most places irrigated agriculture is the elephant in the room, but not in Jordan. And then 40% of your irrigation comes from treated wastewater. So is all the wastewater treated by tertiary treatment? Do you have tertiary treatment for all of your wastewater?
Yes, it's and very well controlled and monitored. We have a special specification for reclaimed water. It is used for now restricted agriculture, the one that you cannot eat it fresh. But with time, but it costs. If you want to improve, you can treat the wastewater to be drinkable. But in Arab words, we cannot use it for drinkable because of religious issue. But now we are using it for agriculture, non-restricted, class A. This is very well monitored. Bridget, you cannot have this water by tanker. If you want to provide water, it should be provided from the treatment plants directly to the farm. Very well monitored. And they will make sure the crops that you irrigate, it's according to the specification. It's not easy. In the Jordan Valley, we mix it with so in the Jordan Valley, it's blended. We blend this water with, and of course, it follow a specification and very restrict. It's not only the specification. We also train everyone work in this water, including farmers, how to deal with this type of water. It's not easy because, in Jordan, you never heard about any waterborne diseases or anybody affected by this type of water. Never. Because we are very strict in this. We have special specification, we have a special code and the protocol how to use this water. It is for agriculture to fresh, like let's fresh water. But again, we use it also for industrial. We use it for potash. We use it for, but with agriculture, the cost, they don't, farmers, they don't cover the cost. And some of them, they thought, they doing us, I was in one of the meetings, they doing us a favor to take this water. I told them, come on. We sell this water very cheap comparing with even when we plan to have a nuclear, but it's still now not yet. But the plan, you know how we think. The
Right.
plan to have this red to dead and a series of different type model of red to dead. At that time, when we have the nuclear, the idea is we will give them reclaimed water.
Right.
We want to expand Samra for nuclear to have cheap
Right.
energy.
Yeah.
Let's see now. I think energy also is very important in us because in Jordan, like 14 something or nationwide, it's used by water sector. So we have a special program for energy efficiency. And this is also go in line with climate change. Also to use more renewable water.
Right.
Renewable energy. And
Energy.
with our treatment plants, we encourage the dependency of these plants on their methane they produce. So, in Samra, they use methane and they use solar. They from their byproduct, they cover all energy they needed because also
Fantastic. That's
energy. Yeah.
great.
And
Yeah.
this is the thing, and I want to tell everyone about our experience because we will exchange. We need, and if I heard somebody, I will come back and learn from them. But this is the energy with the treatment plant. It should now we have studies to make if the extra water, not for agriculture, if it's not free, we will use it for artificial recharge. We are
Right.
studying our aquifers and see where it is appropriate to use it for injection.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
for the aquifer rather than not to pump because we're forced to pump to give water people to drink. We don't have rain, so we have to, even our dams they have a pipe inside it, so the artificial recharge mechanism it is there. So it is not water because, and now, I was in Turkey and I saw a new type of dams, which is groundwater. It's underground dams. We visited them. I invited with me the Secretary General of the Jordan Valley Authority because they are responsible for dams. Now we ask the Turks, they will come study Jordan. They will tell us where are the potential places to have this type of dams. These dams, cheaper than regular dams, less evaporation or maybe no evaporation. And, it collects the water that take if run away or escape. We collect it and we can use it in a spot
Well,
where we have agriculture. So we are ready to run. We change even demand management. You don't imagine we have by code. We change the building codes. Each house they have to have a roof tank rainwater harvesting. Of course, where there is a rain more than 200 millimeter. I cannot ask people in the desert to have a rainwater harvesting reservoir or they don't have rain. How we have, but this is in the guidelines of it is in the building codes that we have. We change the specification for showers or water devices that it is with use less water. This one with the pressure and the dual flush. We have it. We have also a regulation for gray water. It's not only black water. We reuse gray water, but gray water, it is not everywhere. Till now, for the household, it is not feasible because we don't have yet a plant that can treat the detergent of kitchen. And in Jordan, in our world, so most of the water it is in. Once it is there, we have the right technology, then people they can use it and they can use water treat. But this is good in mosque. We have this pilot where if you have a mosque where they use a lot of waste with a pollution, a lot of water. We collect this water and with the schools, if schools beside it would be great thing. So then they collect because the student, they leave the tap open, collect this, make a treatment plant, and they use this water for agriculture. We use this in Dead Sea Spa and in the hotels there because they are not served by wastewater treatment. So they do it themselves. They pump sending to the plants because we cannot cover the wastewater. We focus in water supply, but wastewater, it used to be 75%. Now, because of the big number of population, because it linked to population, it is less than this. So for the Jordan Valley, We did this PPP with the GIZ, where we have a plant with one of the Dead Sea Sprout. They have to have a dual system, this type of gray water. And with the German company, they gave us a plant 50% discount, the other 50, this type of PPP. GIZ, they gave them the 50%, the other 50 by the company, and the hotel, they built a new infrastructure. You have to look at the payback period, how it is successful. They use water for a flushing system, they reuse it, they use water 3 times. And again, their bill, because they reuse it again, they don't have to pump their wastewater many times because it's very expensive. Because of this pilot, all the hotels around there did it. But this is also gray water. We changed the curriculum. We have water clubs and the schools, the people, the students, they live and they know how we manage. Even, what I did? Women is very important. And I always don't tell women is vulnerable. But women, we have to equip women because they are in the front line. They have to solve, they have to solve all the problem. They have, even the farmers, why in my project, we focus on, of course, we choose the southern governorates of Jordan. Why? Because they are vulnerable, very poor, and they depend on rainfall for their agriculture. And we focus also on the women. Why? Because women, they are not no equal accessibility to financing, to knowledge, to information, and they are not part of the decision maker because water, and so they are not part in decision making. They don't know that they need, and they depend, some of them, on farms that depend on rain. So we want to help them. For women in our project, like what I did when I was in the Ministry of Water, call it Water Wise Women. We train women to be plumbers. And why is that? Maybe because, in some of the area in Jordan, they are very conservative. They won't let man to come and fix the pipes or the taps or whatever. So we train a woman and they can make money of it. They will go, they will let them, because, for us, the water is very heavily subsidized. For me, I don't want them even to use water. For me, it's not like I'm selling a profitable product. I'm selling them that I'm losing because it is heavily subsidized. So I want to help them to use less water. I want to help them not to waste water. So we have this wise woman. We treat them. They are our ambassador. We choose very, very selective in choosing these women because we need them, those who can people listen to them. You will be amazed. I was one of the meetings with those people in this rural areas. A lady, she was at time like 65. She was a trained. She told me, I saw the pipeline in the street, damaged, broken. I bring my kids and I fix it because they see. I send them to sit with people that are working in fixing this. They have to see the burden, how our people that they are worked to have this water in the tap. It is not easy. The same thing I'm doing this in my project. We call it a climate-wise woman. It's a 400, we choose like 8. We are 4 governorates, 2 each governorate. We train them about climate resilience, agriculture practices or any productive practices, whatever. So they are graduated from agriculture department. We train them, those 8 women, and then those 8, they have to train 400. How to be more climate resilience in agriculture practices. For this is part, women is very important, especially in a Green Climate Fund. You have to have a special policy, gender policy. Your activity should be a gender responsive. We have special individual expert will check Every activity, it should be gender responsive. So this is what I love in this. So we will work with them. And again, part of it also, we will studying for sustainability. It's not, you have this and go. This nice thing in FAO, this is, I don't know if you heard about this field farm school. And this is, they know the technology. They set with farmers, decide on the right technology they can adopt. This is important rather than you impose something on them. You want them, not the buy-in. You want them to adapt. You want them, but you cannot force them to follow what you see. It's correct. The idea of farmer field school, you have the technology, you sit with them, you decide if it is acceptable or not, how you can improve it together. And we have this in the field, we write the curriculum. But this is the thing with farmers. In every activity, we have to prove, it should be 50% women. But it's with agriculture. If we cannot, we have to tell them we cannot. There is no enough women with, let's say, farmers union or water user associations and things. But this is the thing. And also for sustainability, we have one of in my project also, we review all the policy legislation which is in line with the climate resilience adaptation. Now, our project is adaptation, but other project could be mitigation also or both. We will review the policy legislation, and we will tell the shortage or the gap, and we can start retrofit. We cannot do everything under our project. We will also, the curriculum for vocational schools and specialized universities, we updated them to include precious agriculture, water efficiency, and smart agriculture, climate smart agriculture. And also we will see the specification for reclaimed water, because part of our project, it's not with the reclaimed water because of the amount that we have. Sometimes with reclaimed water, especially in winter, there is no demand for this reclaimed water because they cannot, there is no storage mechanism. So my project is we will have this pond, a storage mechanism where they can use, you see how we don't want to lose every single drop of water. And of course, we will, like I told you, rainwater harvesting at the household, more than 8,000. We will build them. Part of it, they will participate. There is a co-financing from them. They have the house that will benefit. They have to have this water saving devices.
So that's fantastic. That's great.
The beneficiaries, their contribution. If you want to benefit from this, you have to have this water saving devices. For this, they will have also with public buildings, with the schools, a lot of awareness.
Yeah, right. That's amazing. So you introduced some concepts there. I mean, you were talking about the tourist industry in the Dead Sea. And the Dead Sea is the lowest part of the world, 420 meters below sea level. And so the adaptive strategies they've deployed is amazing. So you mentioned public-private partnership and then to develop that reuse and to separate the different types of water and everything. So that's it's amazing how well we can adapt when we are forced to do it. And then I really like what you mentioned about wastewater and storing it over the winter season, because there's very little irrigation demand at that time, and then storing it for the next season. And when you sent me the facts and figures, it seemed like there were like 500 constructed reservoirs or something. These must be some sort of small storage areas for harvesting water.
These dams we have like 13. You're talking about dams or about
No, I'm talking about these were like small, very small dams, and they listed about 500 of them, and I think they were dispersed.
This is like they call it, it's soil dams wherever possible. In Jordan, and water harvesting wherever is possible, we use. Even in Ministry of Agriculture, they have a special program. They give money to the like grants for them to make like pond. Even you know what, something, it is important storage in the farm, because in Jordan, if you don't have the storage mechanism, you waste the water, because this is your, we think in everything. So if you give them this, he has to use like this amount of water. They have to use it for this amount. Next day he will have, rather than waste this water. Some of the farms, we are help them, give them, it's not
Right.
give money. We have this through the donors, the project that we have. We built this the store like pond or whatever, so they can have this water. This water, they use it when they need it. So it is not, I have this water. And you will be amazed, because I have, when I was in the secretary, I always believe on talking with people. So I established what we call a Highland Water Forum. It is in the highland, the problem with water, basically in the highland, we have a lot of illegal wells, not licensed. And if you don't pay, you waste. And people, the groundwater, it is different than surface water. Surface water, you will see the river and you can measure, the flow is little or more. With groundwater, some of people, they thought, there is rivers underneath. They don't see. And as long as they pump, the water is there. So we have to teach them with this. So I have this Highland Water Forum. I made it clear to them. The objective is, I'm not coming to help farmers or to give them free water. I'm here together to manage our basin, groundwater, more efficiently, to protect our water. This is the message. And then we sat together. It's not only farmers, donors were there, because I need the donors to know the real problems. It's not something, we can do this and that. I need them to hear. And also we have farmers and all stakeholders. This water, it's not only for you. It is for everyone. And I used to go sit with farmers in their farms. You will be amazed when the farmer, he start talking as if he is a water expert. I have this blue piece where we have this youth fellows. I took them to this farmer. He's a friend of mine. He has a legal, very license, well, and he knows, because of the climate change, they, with the license, they bear all the costs. But with the license, we allow them to pump a free quota. Above the free quota, they have to pay. For him not to pay, he's very honest man. And he's very well educated, and his farmers he graduated even from the US. And he always attend all workshops, seminars, conferences, about climate change, and he spent millions, in his farms, and he want to keep this business, but legally. So when I took him, he said, I believe because of climate change, the water available will be less. Then, because it will be less, and I will have this quota, but high evaporation. So my demand, it's not the quota. Now it's according to the government. Definitely they will decrease the quota because of the shortage of water. But for him, even though the 150,000 that he have free annually, it will not be enough because of climate change, because of evaporation. So from his pocket money, he bought this like a desk from Denmark. It cost him, like he told me, it's 100,000 JD. It's big number for farmers, but for him to save water. You see, this man, I met him when in the Highland Water Forum, and there is other like him, because we sat with them, we educate them, we showed them we have a problem. They believe in us. You see, this is important. From his own pocket, he bought this, and also he has like sheet where he covered the water to spot. And with surface irrigation, he made one. He said, I bought one, it's expensive, but if it is damaged, we need somebody to come from, I don't know from where. He invented his own. He has a pipe, plastic pipe, where he خلاص, doesn't, well, it is a waste for him. So you know what he did? He cut it into pieces, and where is the drip irrigation? He make a hole and this hole, he put this pipe, and the drip irrigation from above will go directly to the root. It is from him. And he told me with this, he saved 40% of the water.
Wow, that's amazing.
See, I brought these people, listen to this man. Okay,
Yeah.
he told me, Rich, but my father, he wants me to be a minister. I said, no, I don't want this. Then he told him, go by yourself. He didn't give him anything. And he
Right.
now he has farms, and it's very efficient. He has like a part of his farms do research, study different type of crops, which one water tolerant, which one can sustain or drought. But this is the type of farmers that we have. Yani in Jordan, if you come to Jordan, when you
Right.
talk, that's why we managed to decrease the amount of water from 72% to 50%, and the production increased by 10 times. It is not, when I talk about this in some conferences, okay, you didn't, you stop giving them water. That's why you make it less. No, they use water more efficiently.
Right.
And we
Right.
decrease it to 50%, but the production increased by 10 times.
Right.
You
That's
see this?
amazing. Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
come, if anytime you come to Jordan, come and see those farmers. We have
Right.
they use hydroponic, they use aeroponic, drip irrigation. It's when you talk with them about the drip irrigation, oh, this is absolutely, when we are more advanced. This is the thing that I wish all donor or researcher to come and see the real life, the real
Right.
level of technology, and then you go to those people and convince them to improve.
Yeah, and I think what you were talking about, referring to some, was the non-revenue water. So people not paying. And so I've seen in some write-ups that it's about 50% of the
Yes.
water can be non-revenue water. So it seems like you need to get a handle on that. So just to tell the listeners, you mentioned the refugee population a lot, and so I read that you have about almost 2.2 million registered Palestinian refugees, and then 1.4 million Syrian refugees from the 2011 civil war. So a lot of refugees, and most of them are not living in camps. You mentioned one of the camps, but most of them live outside of the camps. So let's talk a little bit. I mean, I know you've been referring to many different solutions there, and I'm really interested to learn about these groundwater dams that you were talking about in Turkey soon. But you referred to the Red to Dead Sea solution a couple of times. Maybe you can describe that a little bit, Maysoon, what that project entailed and what happened.
Yeah. The Red to Dead, it was the gift from the beginning. When we have the peace treaty we sign, it was the gift of the peace treaty. It was the fulfillment of a promise of prosperity to the three countries that participating. We know from the beginning, Bridget, we know from the beginning it is very expensive. In Jordan, the source is the Red Sea, and the need, it is in the north. It's not the cost only, the cost of desalinating water. It is the transport as well. But we know from the beginning. We started with Red to Dead. We contracted the World Bank because its capability of mobilizing funds, because we know we cannot do it by ourselves, especially Palestine and Jordan. Israel, they're a rich country and they have the technology, and for us, we need the money. And with the prosperity, people, they will be happy and they will see what the fruit of the peace. So we started with this, and we have the World Bank. They managed to obtain a fund that is barely enough for their cost, and very expensive, and to finance those who did the feasibility study. And once the feasibility is during that time, me at that time, I was first in the royal court. They came to us, Montgomery Watson. It is, and they are very good. They came to us. They said, They told, listen, if you will still waiting for others to bring you money to have, let's think about doing ourselves. So after read to that, we stop at the study, keep on doing this study long time. And in Jordan, we need the water. Yani it is not luxurious things. So when I was in the royal court at that time in the economic department, we received this Montgomery, and they said the problem is financing. So we have to think of a new approach. The new approach is we have the water and we improve economics, like we have development. And if you from Amman to Aqaba, desert there, nobody live there. So the idea is, and we will have the pipeline from Aqaba to Amman. So the idea is to have like five cities from airport to Aqaba, and this by improving the economy, then they pay tax, the government will be able to afford having this expensive. So the idea is to have one consortium, this was the idea, to have one consortium, they do development, and at the same time, they do the water business. And from what they benefit economically, it will cross-subsidize the tariff, and we will end up with affordable tariff. So this is the other thing, because we realize nobody will help us. We signed the peace treaty, they left us alone. So everyone think of his own. For us, we don't have the right technology. We don't have, we are not like, and there's the same thing with Palestine, not with Israel. They spend in desalination. They own the technology. They have the money. They are at the Mediterranean where the water is much better than Red Sea. No problem of transport. Now it costs them little. They invest in renewable. They invest in it. They have. And now they produce more than what they need, and they export the 250, which is exorbitant. But for us, at that time, we realized this. So we listened to them, and we have this idea. And the idea is that the difference in the price of water, we can announce this is a national, and we have to think how to make it to finance this project from our own, because we realize nobody will help us. So we even draft a special law for this, where we can reallocate some of luxurious taxes and fees, like for cigarette, like for registering the land, but will directly go to this. And I asked even at that time the Secretary General for the Water Authority the amount, the cost of water that you can afford. Even this number was not there. So we used to have the DC project, and we consider this. The difference should become from these fees. Potassium, we have this study, because part of it was saving the Dead Sea at the same time. So 40% of the Dead Sea, the water, it is used or lost because of the potassium from Jordanian and the Israeli company. But the idea is to start think how we can generate fund, not from the pocket of the poor Jordanian. It is from religious things. And then we proceed, we announce, and even I came to Colorado, we opened, then we realized, the idea of having one person for development, and they didn't catch it. But then we decided we have one for the water system and one for development. We came to Colorado, we opened, it was Sinohydro, the Chinese company for water. And I don't know if you know Orascom, it is Egyptian developer to have to build the 5 cities. We're almost there, and we're about to sign. Then I don't know what happens. We changed the minister, the new minister. He canceled this. I was Secretary General, not minister. I don't know what is the real reason. Then they said, okay, we have first to finish the feasibility study. Then I said it with feasibility study. I called Shaddad Al-Atili, he was the chair of the Palestinian delegation, and Yuri Shani, the chair of the Israeli. I invited them to the Dead Sea, put them, because the idea is co-party with a party, something with the Palestinian and the Israelis. So I put them in one room, closed the door. You have to sit and come back, say, finish the study. We have to finish this study. We need the water. And when we sign a letter sent to the World Bank, they were surprised. إنه خلاص we can start the implementation. Then at that time, I finished there, left the ministry. Then after this, they left us alone. We need money because the project is Jordan and it's very expensive. Yeah, with this, because Montgomery, we managed to have this idea of law, but this one we back to the old rat to it. Then after that, we have this bilateral. I don't know if you heard about it. It's like a water swap. They came with a new idea, but the Palestinian, they will give them amount of money. But again, it was not, for the Palestinian, you have to agree on the point or the point where you take this water, because to transport it inside the Palestinian Authority, it is to cost you for where you receive this water and the cost of water, which is this lack from this bilateral. So the Palestinian, as if they are out. It's only bilateral. But again, this is a water swap. We're talking about 30 million, which is nothing with our need, where you have a treatment desalination plant in Aqaba. You give the water to the Israelis, and they give us in the northern part. But we're talking about 30 million, which is nothing. Then we have the problem of the embassy. I don't know if you had, and they cancel this. But this one also canceled. Now, Jordan, they realize, we have this national, they call it national carrier. They back to the idea, but with this national carrier, there is no saving the Dead Sea. Now they end up with one company, which is a French. They are negotiating the price. I'm not part of the committee that they are negotiating, but I'm sure it is very expensive. Yani without having a grant, some money to help, it will be very expensive. Then in between, we heard about this, the prosperity, blue and the green, you know what happens in the COP 27, where they agree on memorandum of understanding, something like this, to do a feasibility study, the blue prosperity and the green prosperity. The green prosperity, where they have the Emirates, they will establish a solar big electricity. They produce it from solar with the storage, and all the electricity or the energy will go to Israel. And and the other one, this is two project interlinked. I'm not involved. I was not involved, so I don't know if this will affect the tariff. I'm not sure. I'm not. Didn't look. I'm not. I was not part of it. I don't know if using the Jordan land to produce solar will help having a special price of water. I'm not there. I don't think. So the idea, and all the solar will go directly to Israel, and then we will receive only 200, I think, MCM, which is not enough for us. And it depends on the feasibility. The plan was in COP 28 to sign an official agreement, but because of what happens in Gaza, and how the bad thing that we are in, it's very difficult. So the public, they refuse and they are against this agreement, and the government of Jordan, they decided to suspend. For me, if I was the decision maker, for me, we've already have a national carrier, right? It is already there. And we have consortiums. At that time, 6 or 7. Now we end up only with the French, but before that, it was like 5. We have already a project announced, and it's almost there. What we lack is the like 54% of the cost of this project, the national carrier, Jordanian national carrier. It is the electricity, or because we need to desalinate and pump to the. For me, rather than having only 200 MCM from Israel, and God knows how it will be, if it is expensive or not, because they will study the feasibility. I don't mind having the UAE to have this electricity plants. I need electricity. Palestine need. Israel, I don't mind what my my need is energy, not water, because I've already have a project. Well, all the studies, all the designs, all the layout, the land is there. If I manage to have a cheap source of energy, and because they are using Ma'an, which is the best in the world where you can produce solar energy, and my land, if they take Ma'an, all of it to Israel, we end up with no potential for green energy, right? So for me, if I involved in this, I don't need water. Let everybody take energy. I don't mind. Let's UAE make this plans, give Jordan for this project, and maybe, which not maybe, it's our right to have subsidized or cheap, if it's not free, because they are using our solar, our land. Yani we will not have any potential for green water. If it was like this, then it will be a success one. It will be a win-win.
Right,
But once I have only 200, lose all my green potential on Jordan, because man, if it's gone, what is there? Then I can go to everyone. I can go to the people in the street, convince them. If you have a bankable deal,
right.
when you can go directly, you will be brave to defend it.
Right.
But what to tell? You see, for this is one of the things. It is suspended because, and now, because of first what happens in Gaza, they close the water, the Palestinian, even with we will not talk about politics, but it is a good lesson for us to be secured. It is security. It is not only because of Israel. Look at it from climate change and shortage of water. We are in the Middle East. The future of Middle East is shortage of water. Maybe if we buy now water from Israel, we will reach a time where what they have is barely enough for them. Forget about enemy, not enemy. They will control us. It is a weapon. Forget about these things. Let's say, we are live peacefully and no problem. It will be because of the climate change. They will what they produce will be barely enough for them. They will stop. So it's better. But that's why they decided now to have this national carrier. It is under study. We hope that they will reach a deal with the French. But we need it in Jordan. We need water. We need desalination. It's not only desalination, Alpha Bridget. We also studying deep aquifers. We have to see the deep aquifers, the difference. Maybe it is cheaper. I don't know. It depends on where is the water, the temperature. And you have to study each aquifer. And again, you can have the water with where the shortage is. So you don't have to transport. We will assess all the potential that we have. But again, water security is important. Like food security. When we have this Ukraine, when we have this COVID, the people, they keep their something that should be secured, like food security, energy, and water. Water is very important.
Well, I thank you so much for your time today. I think we've covered a lot of ground. Really appreciate your educating us on the Red to Dead Sea project, which was to desalinate water from the Red Sea and then to put the concentrate from the desalination into the Dead Sea, because the Dead Sea has been declining at about 1 meter a year, maybe declined by 30 to 40% over the past several decades. So it was a nice idea, and you had good program with Montgomery Watson, and glad about that.
It was. No, it happened. Now we have the first. But Bridget, I want to talk about, if you give me last 5 minutes, about this blue piece.
Well, just let me just a little bit. So the Prosperity Initiative was a part of the Abraham Accord, right? And so that was UAE to develop solar energy in Jordan. and 600 megawatts of solar energy, and then you would give that to Israel, and then in return that you would get desalinated seawater. And you mentioned 200. I've seen 240.
200. It's the
Yeah,
limited amount.
and you
Yes.
use about 1,000 at this point, 1,000 million cubic meters a year. So really, that wouldn't have been a big help. And then you mentioned the importance of water and energy security. And then the National Water Carrier Project, I guess that's about 300 million cubic meters of desalinated drinking water annually, according to the Water Ministry. So that would really help. And so I think what you're describing, Maysoon, really emphasizes the linkages between water, energy, and food, and having security in these areas is extremely important,
Yes.
especially at these
Yeah,
times. We're seeing lessons from many different areas about conflict and stuff. So having security is extremely important. And so we're running out of time, but I'll give you 5 more minutes to describe
for
the
this.
Team Final Fund. Okay.
Like this blue piece,
Oh,
we are
yes.
blue peas. The idea when we talk about peace, because people, they always talk, there will be a war for water. But the peace here, rather than saying there will be a war for water, we are trying to use water to build peace. But this is the idea of peace. The idea of this is to create, we focus on create a generation of a good generation to be very well equipped with the knowledge, with the skills, and to look at water as from cooperation. It is a tool for cooperation, tool for peace, not fight. We started, this project. The idea is to put people sit together. So it is 2 pillars. One is dialogue, where people sit together to gain trust, to exchange knowledge and expertise, and to learn. It's not only from us. We visited Rhine River, Senegal River, to see how people, they manage shared water transboundary. They call it, people in the upstream, they call it a transboundary. And also it is accompanied with research and education, because we need to have a joint research, a joint project. First of all, data, data is very, it's a crucial thing. But by having this, by having a joint research, joint education, then we will have a joint data where everybody will have. But this is the thing. We started with the theme. So theme is policy and dialogue, keep people sit together. We are growing from consultant. Now it is a regional mechanism, no consultant. Now we have somebody from the government. We are growing. At the same pillar, where we sit and learn, we visited Spain, Portugal, see how they manage their water in a good intention. They have a real cooperation. And again, also research started with energy, with the efficiency in agriculture, because like you said, agriculture, they use, so this is the area we should invest now. For phase 2, we go beyond water, like you said, it is the nexus. We're not talking only about water. For the education research in phase 2, it is about the nexus, where we study what we're having nexus practices. We will create a pool of expert practitioners where we can learn from them, and also look for the future is where we invest in the young. We have a youth fellowship, each one from each country. We are 6 countries. We are Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq, Turkey, now Syria and Iran at observer level. But because they shared water, we need them. So we have young people represented from each one. We train them about international water law, about water policy. We need a generation, young generation, who believe in cooperation, in water diplomacy, and sitting together, rather than there will be a war, we have to fight for. This is the thing. And also we focus on a media. It is important to have a media. Whatever you do, if you don't have a media with you, and we invest also in young journalists, nobody will hear about what you are doing. So we have a media with us. The idea of cooperation, it is circles of cooperation. We are getting bigger and bigger with more peace, with more people sit together. So this is the thing that we are. I'm happy with this. This week we are graduate the first cohort of those. They together write a joint proposal on Wi-Fi access that can be translated into pilot project. We are going to make this pilot in Iraq, but for the next one, we'll see what country it suits, and we welcome more people to come and to learn. And this peer-to-peer, wherever there is a shared water, I am there because I do believe in cooperation, diplomacy rather than war, to learn from each other. For this is also very important.
Well, thank you so much. That sounds marvelous. And I really enjoyed visiting with you in California and learned a lot from our discussions and have been doing some homework in the meantime. So thank you for educating me and for all of our listeners. And I wish you the best with this blue peace in the Middle East. I think the median age of people in Jordan is like 22 or something. So you have a lot of youth. And so
Yeah.
and you mentioned the Wi-Fi aspect, so water, energy, food, environment, I think, is the component. So,
System, yeah.
so
Mm.
as Maysoon Al-Zoubi is the program manager currently for the Food and Agriculture Organization Green Climate Fund adaptation component of that program, and it's about a $30 million program in Jordan. Thank you so much, Maysoon, for sharing your ideas.
And thank you for giving me this opportunity.